We are going to talk Ohtani and all the big races. Right now, there are a ton of races. A month ago, it looked like there might be no races, and thanks to the Mets and the Tigers, or I don't know what thanks is the right word, there are some exciting races, both the National League and American League. We're still not sure who's going to be in, who's going to host that wild card game. It's a really interesting situation. I love the format. I love the fact that six teams get in. And yes, there can be good races with six teams getting in, and there absolutely are good races getting in. We're going to talk that ABS system. Chat at me. I'll be happy to answer any and all chats that you guys send my way. And we're going to start a little bit with the Dodgers. I like to talk Dodgers, and they are our leadoff right now, playoff plan for Ohtani. Last week we covered that he's not going to be in the outfield. At least we don't think so. I think that was floated in a very fanciful story. I don't blame it. It's a nice, interesting little topic. But it does appear that he is going to be one of the starters for the Dodgers. They will need to do the wild card, it appears. So, there are obviously three outstanding starters right now for the Dodgers: Yamamoto, Snell, Ohtani. Glasnow's been pretty good as well. Sheehan's been pretty good as well. Starting pitching is not their issue, but Ohtani is one of the top three, so I anticipate he will start. Could he close out a series? Maybe. There's a couple of complications to him warming up and all that in the bullpen. I don't know. We shall see. Obviously, they got creative last year and brought in Walker Buehler to close out the World Series. Could they do that with Ohtani? I was there for the WBC when he closed it out against his teammate Mike Trout. That was very, very exciting. Not going to rule that out. Well, he's not going to be in the outfield. Could he be a closer for a series? Maybe. But he certainly should be one of the starters and will be one of the starters for the Dodgers at 5 no-hit innings against the Phillies, who at this point, you know what, I think the Phillies might be the World Series favorite. We shall see. Probably the odds makers have the Dodgers. They do have the best names. It is interesting what's going on with L.A., though. Their rotation looks fantastic right now. I mean, any team would start Sheehan at this point, Glasnow as well, Kershaw as well. But right now, they're not among their top three starters, at least for that first round. It is Snell, Yamamoto, and Ohtani. Does that mean Tanner Scott will be left off the playoff roster? No, I didn't mean that. I have no information on that, and I would not expect that. Tanner Scott, obviously very talented, not having the year that you'd expect, not for $72 million. Yates and Tanner Scott have just not worked out. Trinan was a huge, huge hero last year, helping them win the World Series. He hasn't been especially good either. Bessie has been maybe their best reliever at this point. The bullpen has been a real issue. Bullpen, I mean, I don't want to say it's the biggest reason they won last year, but it was an enormous reason that they won last year, right? They kind of pieced it together with the rotation, and the bullpen were the heroes of that postseason, along with Freddie Freeman, of course. Don't crush my dreams. All right. No, you're forgetting Snell. No. Snell, Yamamoto, and Ohtani are their three starters, at least in that wild card series. The order I couldn't swear to. It does seem to set up for Ohtani, but they can figure it out however they want at this point. But I do think Ohtani, Snell, and Yamamoto are the three guys, and that would be their plan. It is interesting that the rotation is their great strengths right now, while the bullpen is the weakness. I mean, who would have thought? With all the guys they had coming back, Kopech, who's been hurt, now he is back now. All those great relievers. Trinan was fantastic last year. And they brought in Yates and Scott at not a cheap rate either. I think Yates was $13 million. Scott was, I think, 4 years, $72 million. So they did spend. Can the Dodgers win the World Series? Maybe that's what he was meaning by crush my dreams. Don't go on my predictions. I predicted at the beginning of the year Dodgers and Red Sox. Maybe it still will be Dodgers and Red Sox. American League wide open. Anybody can win it. We're going to get to all the what races in the American League. When I get to that AL Central, I'm going to cover it all. And right after I do the Mets mess. But next up, and chat at me. I'll be happy to answer any and all questions, critiques, criticisms, anything. ABS coming in 2026. Automated ball strike. Terrific. That is great by MLB. We had that story at the New York Post first, and that was a big, big thing for MLB. I think everybody figured that it was coming. Obviously, the Major League umpires are the best umpires in the world, but are they perfect? No. Are they close to perfect? No. Did something need to happen? Yes, I think this is the right thing to happen. All right, I was scared of the Phillies' last playoffs. I was relieved when okay, yeah. I mean, the Phillies are scary. I mean, the Phillies, even without Wheeler, with Sanchez, with Suarez, Luzardo, I mean, three great lefties. I think he'll probably mix Nola in there with a righty. They're tough. I mean, right now, I kind of think the Phillies have a good shot to win it all. I really do. I'm figuring National League right now is better. I kind of think the Phillies, Dodgers, and Brewers are the three best teams, and maybe the Cubs are even the fourth best team. I've been saying that all along now. Is the National League have a better record than the American League overall? No, it doesn't. Um, I mean, this year has been an incredible surprise. I mean, let's face facts. Did anyone see this collapse by Detroit? And we're going to get into that, or the Mets. And I am going to get into that at length. Nobody saw any of that coming. All right, the ABS is coming, and we are all happy about that. The competition committee approved it. Teams will get 2 challenges. That is if they're wrong. If they're right, they will get an unlimited number of challenges. They can keep challenging forever, and it's only the batter, pitcher, and catcher who can challenge. I agree. It seems the Brewers have the mojo that the Dodgers. It feels that way. I mean, look at the Brewers. They have been the best team, no question about that. No one's going to win 100 games, but they have the most wins. They've played the best. Their defense is fantastic. The base running is outstanding. Their hitting is good enough. Their pitching is excellent. Now, they've had some injuries in the pitching front. Woodruff being hurt, that doesn't help. Certainly, they've had a lot of injuries in the bullpen. Little worrisome there. So, I mean, it's a small market team. Can't absorb too many injuries. How will MLB change its system of holding umpires accountable with ABS? I mean, I don't think that's going to change. They have a good union. I don't know how accountable they are. I mean, we're not there for all the conversations behind closed doors, but I mean, let's face it, it takes a lot for an umpire to lose his job. We saw Angel Hernandez. He was way out there in terms of the public, and that probably did him in. He was a bit of a showman while making bad calls. So that probably did it. I'm not seeing a lot of accountability. And again, most of these umpires are excellent. I'd say almost all of them are very professional. The best umpire was the guy who got embroiled in that gambling scheme. He can reapply to get back in. He had the best record, best reputation as an umpire. And unfortunately, he was out this year, and I don't know when he's coming back. But I do think that the challenge system was needed. This will limit the amount of whining that goes on. Hopefully, I would hope. I mean, challenge. If you don't like it, challenge. Now, managers could still whine because they're not the ones challenging. I miss Eric Gregg. I don't know. You're referring to that one playoff series where his strike zone got a little bit wide. Hey, we've all had our moments. Nobody is perfect. All right. Anyway, I think it's a great move by MLB. They needed that challenge system. Did they need the robo-umps entirely, making all the calls? I don't think so. I think this is a good way to ease into it. If this doesn't work, maybe go to a full robot umpire and maybe do that. Now, this was tested in the minor leagues and spring training. It was in the All-Star game. I think 90% of the people are in favor. We know that Aaron Boone and Terry Francona had mentioned some trepidations about it, but they understand the way this is moving right now, the way the wind is blowing, and no time to be talking out against it, and they're pretty political, and I don't think they'll be doing that. So anyway, we're very happy about the ABS system coming. Challenge system has been working when they've used it. I think it will work terrifically in baseball. Look, Rob Manfred, say what you want, but they've made some good rules changes. I'm on board with all of them, basically. I know a lot of people don't like the Manfred man at second base. I mean, as someone who's writing on deadline, I need that. I need that Manfred man, so I cannot argue against it. I get the reason people are against it, but if you're on deadline, you can't be waiting for 18 innings to get it done because you're not going to be hitting your deadline. I know other people aren't going to care about that. All right, Mets mess. Let's get to that, and I got a lot to say on that, and chime in whenever you have a question or a criticism or whatever. Oh, my God. Did anybody see this one coming? There were 21 games over 500 on June 12th. I know that was the day that Senga got hurt with that high toss from Alonso, that couldn't have done it all. Obviously, that starting pitching has been the number one downfall. I mean, it's Senga, but it's everybody, right? Manaea has not been the same. Canning, unfortunately, got hurt. Two guys go down with the Tommy John. Obviously, it's Manaea. Going down with the Tommy John. McGill now needs Tommy John. So basically, the five, and Peterson just has not been good in the second half. He was an all-star in the first half. He has not been good, and I don't think we're going to see him again in the regular season at this point because he got hit so bad in the Cubs game. I know that Soto misplayed a fly ball. Would have been a little bit better, but there was a quick hook there, and I think they're losing faith in Peterson right now. Certainly will come back next year and start again, and who knows? They all seem to have hit a wall, and without those young rookie starters, they'd be done at this point. Now they're still hanging on. They've got a one-game lead on Cincinnati and Arizona, so it's quite a race. It's turned into a great race, and let's all tip our caps. If I had a cap, I would tip it right now to the Mets for making this a race. Nobody saw this coming. Sasaki, Kershaw, Sheehan, and Vesia out of the bullpen. Leave Scott off the roster. Interesting. I never would have thought they would leave Scott off the roster. Stars occasionally are left off the roster. He obviously has been very bad this year. I don't see that coming, but maybe you guys who are following the Dodgers more do. I do see Sheehan and Kershaw going to the bullpen and helping them out. Kershaw, but with a quick hook. I think at this point he's not in the top three, and I think Glasnow is probably four. So I don't think Kershaw will be a starter. He's had a good year. To me, he's the greatest pitcher over the last 50 years. I think it's either him or Pedro Martinez. I'm going back toward Sandy Koufax. I'm going to put Sandy Koufax ahead of everybody, although I missed seeing him. I do think it's between Pedro Martinez and Clayton Kershaw. Someone could make a case for Greg Maddux, for Randy Johnson. Is there anybody else I'm missing? I think those are the big four really right now over the last 50 years. And I would say Kershaw is number one. ERA plus, I think Kershaw and Pedro Martinez are tied at the top at 154, something like that. 10 blown saves for Scott. The Dodgers would be best with. All right, I get it. You fans probably know better than I do. Maybe he will be left out. They're certainly giving him every chance in the regular season, and these are pretty big games right now because the Dodgers don't have the division locked up. They don't have that home field locked up for the wild card. They're not going to take over, and here's it's going to be Phillies and Milwaukee are going to get the home field, but these games are still important. They're still using him. So I think they've got their fingers crossed. I'm not sure what that means. Something is guaranteed. All right, I like it when things are guaranteed. All right, the Mets mess, it certainly is that, and they've gone for offense now. They put Marte in left field. Mullins is out of the lineup. Nimmo is back in center. Obviously, they're losing a little bit defensively in center and in left, but to get Marte in that lineup, another line drive hitter, that's probably a plus because they probably depend too much on the big four. Dave Roberts called him scared last night. Ouch. I didn't see that. Boy, everybody's on Tanner Scott. I guess when you make $72 million, that's over 4 years, is a target on your back. He has been very bad. It's been shocking to see because, I mean, he's one of the most coveted relievers and one of the highest paid relievers ever. And he has not done the job at all. So, yeah, if Dave Roberts called him scared, you guys are picking up on something, maybe more than I am, and I give you credit, and maybe he will be out. We'll see. All right, Mets mess. Look, Soto has been great in the second half. Alonso has been very good all year. Lindor has been great lately and pretty good all year. It is something that they're in the situation that they're in. How about Cleveland? What a comeback. Absolutely. I'm going to be talking about that AL Central race. Amazing. We're going to talk Cleveland and we're going to talk Detroit, and they have the opposite story to tell. But let me finish up on the Mets. I mean, it really is amazing to go from 45-24 and then since then be the fourth worst team in baseball. That is absolutely shocking. They had the best ERA in baseball at that point. Since then, they have been well below average on ERA. The bullpen has had a lot of issues. That's probably not shocking considering that the starting pitching really wasn't even giving length, even when it was doing well and it was limiting the runs, wasn't doing it. Will Luis Angel Acuna ever be a help to them? Well, he's a help right now as a pinch runner and occasionally on defense maybe, but mostly as a pinch runner. Yeah, he may need to get traded to go somewhere else because right now they've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 second basemen that seem to be ahead of him. And I'm including Jet Williams. They've told me he's not coming up. So I guess we're not going to see Jet Williams. That to me seemed like an option. Now, he's only played for 2 weeks in AAA. So I kind of get it. Then again, Tong only was in AAA for 2 weeks, and he is up as well. So, yeah, without the rookie pitchers, they'd be done at this point. McLean is their ace. He's been amazing. Tong had one terrible outing, been pretty good otherwise. There's some scouts who think that he might need to use that breaking ball a little bit more. It's been mostly the Vulcan change along with the fastball, which obviously fooled them all in the minors. I had like a 1.3 ERA in the minors, and it's close to 6 in the majors. So I'll tell you the difference between the minors and the majors. But Tong has won a couple of games. Without those wins, they'd be sunk. So give him credit. Same with Sproat. He's pitched well. He's limited the hits. He's got great stuff. I mean, if they get in the playoffs, obviously McLean is going to pitch game 1. Could it be the 3 rookies? At this point, it's a possibility. The one guy I didn't mention was Holmes, who's the one starter who's been fairly consistent throughout the year and been decent throughout the year. They could do that piggyback situation with Holmes and Minaya. It worked one time. Second time did not work as well. Minaya has not been very good. It's really been something, and it has been the starting pitching more than anything, though their defense is not great. Obviously, Lindor is an outstanding defender. Torrens, when he plays, is an outstanding defender. Other than that, they get a lot of average defense all over the place, and it's added up to some mistakes. We talk about the Yankee fundamental mistakes all the time. Let's be fair about it. The Mets have made more fundamental mistakes lately than the Yankees, and it is shocking that they are in this situation. The Reds, give Francona credit. They have a very young team there, and they are doing it. They have some great starting pitching, but never would have thought they could compete with the Mets up into the final week. Incredible. Arizona, I mean, they traded 5 guys, including their corner infielders, plus Merrill Kelly. I mean, Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor were both traded along with Kelly, and they're still in the mix. I mean, give Arizona credit. Torey Lovello doing a nice job there. Obviously, a lot of this is on the Mets, but we got to give credit where it is due. Cincinnati and Arizona do deserve that credit. I mean, will Arizona regret all those sales? They may. I mean, at the time, I don't think anybody was doubting them or faulting them for being a seller. They did not look like a contender at all, and nobody foresaw that the Mets would implode like this. Mets should have paid DeGrom. Well, you know what? He also had an injury year at 35 or 38 million, whatever he's making, 35 million. I don't know. It seemed like the time had kind of run out there. They made an offer. It wasn't even close. Didn't feel like they really wanted him back. And right now, you've got David Stearns there. Well, that wasn't his call, but he isn't a guy who has really wanted to go out and get the big name, big time, big salary starters. Apparently sees that as a big risk, and I get it. A lot of those big contracts for the starters have not worked out historically. Obviously, some of them did. Greg Maddux, of course, that was $28 million, but that was a record for a pitcher at that time. That worked out. The Musino deal worked out. The Randy Johnson deal worked out. There have been some that have been fantastic, but there have been others, Strasburg and others, that have amounted to basically close to a waste of the money. With a generational talent like DeGrom, find a way to make it work. Well, yeah, when he's available, he is a generational talent. I agree, but he was very injury prone, and it did feel like they really felt that time was up there. I get it. I don't think anyone was killing them at the time. If they had him now, obviously that would be huge for them because they could use a veteran starter who's doing well. Kevin Brown. Is that an example of one that worked or didn't? I'm not sure. That was kind of in between, right? It was a record $105 million, and he was pretty good. Maybe we're saying he's not worth the $105 million. I don't know. It was quite an overpay at the time, it seemed, but sometimes an overpay turns into an underpay. I don't know. There have been some that have worked, as I mentioned. Mussina, Maddux, Randy Johnson are 3 obvious ones that come to mind. Max Fried looks like a good one right now. We shall see, but right now, it does look like the Mets did not. Okay, yeah, maybe. It was certainly an overpay when they paid him, and overall probably didn't work out. I don't know. It was a while ago. It wasn't the implosion that we saw with Strasburg. Barry Zito, yeah, that was a lot of money, right? 126 million. He did have that one game. I was in St. Louis for that game, won that game, helped the Giants advance. They got to the World Series. They won the World Series again. So without him, they probably wouldn't have won that other World Series. So, there is a value in that, winning that World Series. So, right, Barry Zito was a guy, got 126 million. Probably didn't work out in terms of the production overall. I get it. So Mets still hanging on, still got a shot, but not going to believe Fangraphs. They were the ones that told us it was 90% a couple weeks ago, and I was making fun of that because I was at the games. I was watching them. It didn't look like 90%, and now they were down to 50%. They did win yesterday. Cincinnati did lose, so it's probably over 50%, but they got one game on Cincinnati and Arizona. It's pretty dicey. All right, AL Central race, a lot to talk about with the AL Central race, and it's fantastic. We're going to give credit or demerit, whatever you want to call it, to Detroit. Nobody saw this coming, and I'm giving big credit to the Guardians. Fantastic job by Stephen Vogt, by Chris Antonetti, by Mike Chernoff. Amazing. They are a pitching factory, and they've done a great job. Over 18 games, they gave up 28 runs. The biggest stat, September 10th, they trailed by 9.5 games. September 10th. I can't even believe it. I'm looking at my notes. It's hard to even believe that's the case. We're talking, it's 2 weeks later, and that 9.5 games has been erased. Now, they needed cooperation from Detroit, and we're going to get to that in a little while, but give Cleveland credit, and I'm not even sure how they're doing it. I'm not sure that Detroit knows how they're doing it, or certainly Tarek Skubal, who is the best pitcher in baseball. I know there's a case for Skeens. I'm still saying Skubal number one, Skeens, Crochet right behind them. Hunter Brown pretty good as well. Certainly Green, outstanding. Hunter Green is another one who's outstanding. But, I mean, to give up 3 runs without a ball going out of the infield, that was the perfect Guardians rally. Incredible. They have 2 guys with an OPS plus over 100. They have Manzardo, and they have, of course, Ramirez. Guards ball. Yeah, I mean, it is their way of doing it. Their defense is incredible. So let's give them credit. It's not just luck or mirrors or whatever you want to call it. The defense is great. I love the way Arias plays. Rocchio, love him. Bo Naylor has been very good. Quan, I mean, does anybody play left field like he does? Amazing. This moment, I can't even believe they considered trading him. Now, they were a seller, but they traded 2 guys who hadn't played for them at this point. Basically. And Bieber has done well with Toronto, but he hadn't even played for Cleveland. So they ended up cutting off their sale at guys who hadn't even really produced for them. And so they really have nothing to regret there, obviously, and they're doing great. Gavin Williams is their ace. Bibby's been very good. Sacconi's been good. Cantillo's been good. Messick's been good. And you got Logan Allen. They've gone with 6-man, which that seems to have been a great move, whoever decided that. I mean, Antonetti, Chernoff, Vogt, they do a fantastic job. I mean, there's no other way to say it, but the team is better than we ever give them credit for. Every year I say that. The team is always better, and, they're always a smart pick. If anyone's ever going to pick them, I'm not that smart. I usually do not pick them, and I give them credit. Now, as far as Detroit goes, nobody saw this coming either. Look, they were playing fantastic. Were they overperforming a bit? Probably a little bit. I do give them credit. Mize has shown his talent this year. Torkelson has shown his talent. Skubal's the best pitcher in the game. Riley Green is a terrific player. They've resurrected Baez. A lot of good stuff happening there. And their chances to win the division are still there. The chances to take that wild card are still there. Obviously, Houston's had a lot of injuries, right? Obviously, with Hader going down, that's a killer. Then you have Yordan Alvarez going down, and they had a number of injuries to begin with. So, I mean, Houston, I give a spot of credit. He's done a very good job in Houston, and it's really amazing that they're still in it. I get that they're kind of falling back now, but, I mean, we were all kind of waiting for this to happen, and certainly with the Hader and Alvarez injuries, they got an uphill battle, even though they're battling with a Detroit team that is not playing well at the moment. Right now, I think Houston's probably got the uphill battle, and Detroit probably still can slide in there as a wild card team along with the Red Sox. And the Yankees, I was at the Yankee game yesterday. They're playing fantastic. Since August 11th, they have the best record in baseball. The bullpen is now coming together finally. The rotation is outstanding. What they do with that third or fourth starter, we shall see. I kind of think it might be Schlittler, but he looked pretty good last night. Could be either one of them. Shortstop Volpe's been playing the majority of the game, so it does feel like Volpe's still going to play a lot at shortstop. Scouts I talked to say Caballero should be the shortstop. He's outplayed him. That is true. They love Volpe. He's been their man. They're not giving up on him. So whatever you think of that, that seems to be the way that one is going. But AL Central race, amazing. The races have been incredible. The NL with the Mets, the Reds, the Diamondbacks, very interesting race. One game separates them. AL, almost nothing separating right now. We're talking one game, two games with Cleveland, with Detroit, with Houston, Boston. Really, really outstanding races. But Cleveland Guardians are a fantastic story and give them the world of credit. All right, let's get to the free agents with the most on the line. All right, number one is the most obvious one. Let's see if anyone can quickly guess. I don't know if anyone's going to chime in, but it is obviously Tucker. With the Cubs, I mean, he was considered a potential $500 million man. He's still the number one free agent. And the New York Post, I wrote about all the top free agents. I think I had top 25 free agents. You can cross Kershaw off that list. I wrote about this about 2-3 weeks ago, but I wrote about it as I said, in the New York Post. Is there a spelling mistake when Gary Bear? I'm not sure. But anyway, Kyle Tucker is number one. Fantastic all-around talent, one of the best players in the game, having a very solid year with the Cubs as he excited the fan bases. He did early. Now, then he hurt himself, and he hasn't been himself since. Sorry, typo. Now it's a little behind, but I think it is Skubal, a free agent. Skubal's a free agent in the following winter. So, and I don't think Detroit has made any progress with signing Skubal. I think they'd have to really figure out something different to do that. Apparently the gap is enormous, and they'd really have to work on it to really have a chance to sign Tarek Skubal. Obviously, the Tigers fans would love to see that happen, but at this point, you got to figure the baseline has got to be that 324, 325, which is where Cole and Yamamoto are, and Skubal has been amazing, consistent, dynamic. Is he a $400 million pitcher? Maybe. Does Detroit want to pay $400 million? To this point, not even close. So we shall see. They could change their whole tack and go turn it around and sign them and surprise us all. But right now, there's an enormous cap right now. Nice, put a Dodger. Okay, we'll see if it's the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, the Cubs, whoever it may be. But anyway, Kyle Tucker, most on the line. He is injured right now. He's going to come back, and we'll see what happens with him. But he is the number one free agent. I don't think there's any debate on that. But is he a $500 million free agent? Could depend on his postseason. $500 million may be a stretch, but a lot of money certainly on the line. Number two, Dylan Cease. To me, this guy is one of the most talented pitchers in baseball. Always up there in innings, in starts, in strikeouts. Yet he gives up a lot of runs. At least this year he is. He's been in the Cy Young conversation multiple times previously. So obviously he's had some big years. This one isn't it. The issue, I think, seems to be fastball command. He can turn it around in the postseason. Last year, he said, give me the ball. I'll take the ball on 3 days rest. Everyone says Dodgers for Tucker, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, I could see the Dodgers for Tucker. That does make sense. It doesn't feel like the Cubs are going to pony up that money that's going to take. I'm not sure it's going to be $500 million, but certainly going to be over $300 million. Is it going to be $400 million? It might be. He is the number one free agent. That is not debatable. The Dodgers often take that number one free agent. Right now, their outfield is not their strength. So I get it. I would say that it's the number one speculation would be the Dodgers for Kyle Tucker, who's my number one free agent with the most on the line. Dylan Cease, I think the issue has been fastball command. I know he relies heavily on the fastball and the slider. I get it. Sometimes a two-pitch pitcher, that's an issue, but his two pitches are great. The issue has been the command on that fastball. He needs to improve that and show that in the postseason. But, I mean, he throws so many innings, strikes out so many guys. He's so reliable, so dependable that he's going to do well in free agency. But to do better, needs a big star. As I was saying, he said, give me the ball last year for game 4, 3 days rest. Padres were up 2-1, and he had a very poor outing, and they lost. Was it 7-0, 8-0? I don't know. He did not pitch well. Number 3, I have Eugenio Suarez. He was fantastic with the Diamondbacks. He has not been as good with Seattle now that he's in a race, ironically, or maybe coincidence. I don't know what the word is there, but the Diamondbacks are now in the race without him and without the other stars that they traded. This is a terrific power hitter, not a great defender. Should be interesting to see how it goes. Obviously, Seattle wanted him back. He had been there previously. Cincinnati had looked at him. He had been there previously. He's a great guy for the team. So teams who had him wanted him. So that plays, certainly. And he's got huge power. That plays as well, but certainly has not been as good in Seattle. And a big postseason would certainly help. Trent Grisham. I mean, he has really turned the corner. He has turned it around and become a star with the Yankees this year. 33 home runs. I mean, I'm wondering if the Yankees even give him the qualifying offer, about $22 million, as we reported at the Post. He only makes $5 million this year, but I mean, what a great season. He's been their majority center fielder, and he's been their leadoff hitter, and he's been their power hitter. At this point, he's probably worth that $22 million. They probably should give him that qualifying offer, but you know what? If he has a big postseason, maybe he won't have to take that qualifying offer. He's been that good. And he's still young. I think he's 28 years old. So maybe he has turned a corner, figured something out. And I mean, someone could say it's somewhat the ballpark, but he has hit some absolute bombs. So I'm not saying that. All right, number 5 on my list is Bo Bichette. I'm not sure he has too much to prove. Certainly needs to get healthy, needs to help them into the postseason and play well in the postseason. I had him, I think, as the number 2 or 3. I think I had him number 3 free agent. I had Bregman ahead of him. Obviously, it's a pretty decent crop for position players. Not quite as good for pitchers. There are some good pitchers. There are some actually about 3 really good players coming from Japan, as we know. I mean, there's some guys we know what they do in the postseason. Like Framber Valdez, we know what he does in the postseason. Schwarber, he's a huge star. He's been unbelievable. We know what he does in the postseason. But it will be good to see Bo Bichette and the Jays, frankly, put a good postseason together and enhance his free agency. I mean, I think his free agency is going to be good. He could play second. He could play third, versatile. Still leads in hits, even though he's been out for a couple of weeks. He led in the hits twice previously. He's obviously a star. I think he's probably on that MVP list if you're voting for 10 guys. So, I mean, he's had a really good year. He's earned himself a lot of money, but he can make it even better if he has a big postseason. All right, that's my top 5. Tucker, C, Suarez, Grisham, and Bichette, free agents with most on the line. It's been my pleasure. This is Jon Heyman signing off for Bleacher Report. I will be back at you next week when the playoffs, and they will be figured out by then, when the playoffs are beginning.